What's up, y'all? T Brown 31 here with Jay About the Great once again, back with another episode of the Last Word podcast. And it is time to finish off this NFL season, man. It's been a long, crazy season, a lot of ups and downs, especially for Panthers fans over here. But we ain't gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about the Super Bowl, the two teams that deserve to be there. Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers. Just 4 years ago, these two teams played in the Super Bowl. Of course, Chiefs came out, won their first Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, that whole group. Now they're back at it again. So this one we're actually going to split. We were talking just before the video started. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Jacob's going with the 49ers. Look, I'll just start off here. Since this is our only game, my biggest thing is I've doubted the Chiefs for like 2 straight weeks now. I just don't know if it's a smart thing to do anymore. And this 49er team, to me, as great as that team was, 4 years ago when they played the Super Bowl, I think this team's even better. To start off with, you got Christian McCaffrey as your running back. Like that's automatic, like plus 10 to your team rating there. But I just can't bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs again. Like they might prove me wrong and they might turn out and lose. And we'll get into, more of the analysis and everything. But yeah, I just, to start off, I don't think it's a good idea to doubt them at this point. They might lose, so be it. But I'm sticking with the Chiefs.
Yeah, man. We might be able to say this show is you can call me Sisyphus, I guess. I'm gonna keep pushing my rock up the hill. My rock is that the Chiefs have to lose at some point, right? It can't keep going. I said this, I think, pretty much word for word, and the last time we picked with the Chiefs in mind, and I said, there's no logical way the Chiefs beat the Ravens. It would have to be a lot of tomfoolery. The tomfoolery that occurred was that the Ravens abandoned their strongest point of the football game. The Niners, I said this about the Ravens, more complete team than the Chiefs. The Niners, at one point, we said this on the show, both of us looked like the team to beat, and that was until the Ravens dismantled them. They lost at 3 in a row, and they came back and showed a lot of resilience. Now we're in a completely different world here, as the Chiefs have fully activated their playoff mode. Been a lot of stuff all week with these two teams I've been seeing. It's just really hard to pick against this Chiefs team. A few years ago, the Niners took a big lead on them, celebrated in the end zone, and were in fact not Super Bowl champions. So you got to factor in all these things. These coaches have been here against each other. These teams have looked a lot different now, but they've been here in theory against each other. This is going to be, I think, a really good Super Bowl. Personally, I just feel like at this point, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, that's kind of the big three right now as of the season has gone. Deebo Samuel's going to be in there, George Kittle, and it's a lot for the Chiefs defense to fully handle. And the Chiefs defense is good. I praised them a lot all season. That's the one part of the Chiefs team that I have no issues with this season. They are really good. But this Niners offense, I think, is a little overwhelming. They played some scary games, but they're a little more resilient than the Chiefs offense. And I feel like we're going to have a close game. And I think that as crazy as it sounds, I trust the Niners offense a little more than the Chiefs offense to pull through and pull off a clutch scenario. Now, the scary thing there is that do I trust Jake Moody more than Harrison Butker if it comes down to a field goal opportunity? Absolutely not. Jake Moody has been a liability at the kicker position. I know it's his first year. Super Bowl's going to be a lot of pressure. That's going to be a scary scenario. But overall, I think the Niners can take this. And I'm going to be really, really cheeky and say something like I think they win the Super Bowl 31-30, some kind of really stupid close score where we have some weird things go on in this game. But I think it should be fun. Obviously, based on the way the whole playoffs has gone, there's no shock for me if the Chiefs end up winning the Super Bowl. But as a Panthers fan, I'd love to see CMC get him a ring. And I think there's a lot of potential here for the Niners to finally be able to put a hold on the Chiefs' hot run in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd be happy for CMC. Overall, I'm not saying I'm rooting for the Niners, but I'm definitely not rooting for the Chiefs here. If the Chiefs win another Super Bowl, okay, you get this one, please go away. I don't want to see no more of y'all for a while. Do kind of what the Patriots did. You win 3 in a short period of time. They were still up there at the top, but they didn't win for another 10 years. I'll be fine with that. Let somebody else get up there and start winning. With that being said, again, like you just mentioned, this Niners team, it's different and it's even better. The guys that were there before, you know, Nick Bosa, Debo, they were rookies that first time around. They've gotten even better. You know, some you can might be able to criticize Nick, you know, and that D line, you know, for some of the past few games and everything, but still Nick Bosa, he's still a great player. Defense is still that defense, you know, regardless of some of the mishaps that they've had this season, you know, even in the game against the Lions when they were just getting run over early on in the first quarter. That defense is still that defense. Plus Brandon Ayuk, plus McCaffrey, George Hill. Again, he's improved as a player as well. I think that might have been like his, I want to say maybe third year or something like that when he was there. So like now being, you know, 8-9 years into the league, like he's gotten better. It seems like, you know, the smart pick really would be the 49ers, right? You know, regardless of how well the Chiefs have played, you know, comparably in these last two games against the Ravens and the Bills before that, the 49ers on paper are just generally the better team. Like, you look at the roster top to bottom, receiving core, running backs, Isaiah Pacheco has done really well when he's been asked to. But again, Christian McCaffrey, still better. In my opinion, probably your opinion too, best running back in the league.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, unless, you know, again, unless he has some of those games where he was just throwing picks and making mistakes, like he's going to play a pretty good game, I would say. Um, and hey, you know, I was about to say is like, you know, with Willie Gay, you know, obviously for the Chiefs, it's like, okay, now you can maybe spy. It's like, are you really going to be spying on Brock Purdy? Not really, but the man can. He has a few runs like randomly in the middle of the game where he might run for 20 out of nowhere. So maybe not, but that's not something you're really expecting. As far as the Chiefs defense goes, like you're really the game plan for the Niners should be really simple. Brock Purdy stays composed, gets the ball out to his weapons. Your defense, basically, again, you're gonna have to force these receivers to make plays for the Chiefs. That's something that they hadn't been really doing all season till the playoffs. And 3 straight games in the playoffs from Miami to Buffalo to Baltimore, these receivers, they stepped up when it mattered the most. Travis Kelsey's having his best stretch in a while. So defensively, that's going to be the biggest thing is like you're going to have to force these guys to make plays. You know, Patrick Mahomes is going to do what he does. But if his teammates don't step up, that's just not going to it's not going to be a way for them to win. So this isn't like Brock Purdy is just a game manager take. It's just quite simple. The 49ers simply have better weapons. So he can rely on his weapons a lot more than Mahomes can, you know, outside of Travis Kelsey, right? So game plan for the Niners, keep him composed, get the ball out to his weapons, let them work defensively, force the receivers to make plays, force them to beat you. Mahomes is going to do some crazy stuff regardless, but at least try to take away Travis Kelsey, make these guys make some plays. And if they don't, Niners will probably win. But I think I think it's just something about Mahomes in these games. Like we've seen over the past 3 weeks, these guys can make plays when they need them. The defense can step up. Again, you're getting some guys back on defense. Like I think it's a possibility. Um, the main thing again is for them on defense, you can't let these guys get going. That's the main thing for the Niners. If they get going early, we know the Chiefs love making comebacks, but in a situation like this, I think if they try to turn it into a foot race, a sprint to the finish line, it's going to favor the Niners in that scenario. So, just to pass it for you, what's your biggest takeaway, or key to this game? I would say.
I really think the key is going to be, that Chiefs defense is scrappy. I think for the Niners, you got to keep Brock's alive, keep him standing, keep him able to get those good passes off to Kittle or Debo, or even passes to CMC. We've seen CMC be a massive weapon in the passing game. But also, Brock is a great scrambler, and so I think you got to let him be sure that he stays poised. I don't think he's a game manager. I'm not gonna get there. I think he's a good passer, and I think he's a good runner, and I think he just can't let the pressure of playing Patrick Mahomes of all people in your first Super Bowl appearance get to you. I don't think he's really faced Patrick Mahomes, on route to the Super Bowl here. He had some tough games for sure, but the opponents were definitely not of kind of like the mental status that playing Mahomes and Kelsey and Chris Jones and all that will bring to you. I think if he can stay poised and keep the Niners offense going, and that Niners defense can just get to Mahomes a little bit, get him down 1 or 2 times, I think that's going to be a big game changer. The Chiefs won a lot of close games, and you'll notice that they just don't get sacked a whole lot. I've had a few games this season, including the Ravens game, where their offense has stalled out for an entire half. They lost to the Raiders in the regular season while the Raiders didn't score in the second half, which is kind of crazy. That's the same way they just beat the Ravens, where they themselves didn't score in the second half. So I think if the Niners can stay a little consistent, they can keep Mahomes pressured and keep Brock Purdy in a good state of mind, and of course those weapons show up, I think they'll be good. I'm not going to count on the Chiefs' weapons not making plays. I have been overly critical. I wouldn't say overly, but I've been very critical of the Chiefs' offense all season. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. Last week or last game against the Ravens, they made some plays that I was like, man, this is a completely different team. These are like phenomenal offensive plays, some crazy catches. Just not what we were seeing for the rest of this season. So yeah, I think the thing is going to be you got to get a little disruptive. Chiefs are starting to find a good rhythm, make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, keep Brock Purdy comfortable. I'm sure that sounds like super simple, but I think that's a tough task on both ends. Brock Purdy has been a very poised quarterback for most of what I've seen. I mean, he got a little frazzled in that Ravens game, that 3-game losing streak. He was a little rough. Otherwise, I think one of Brock's strengths is that he is just a really solid, poised guy in the pocket, and so is Mahomes. So I think you got to change that if you're the Niners. You got to keep Brock comfortable, and you've got to really make sure that Patrick is not.